your life is affected by multiple sclerosis or any other neurological condition, then this channel is for you. So please consider subscribing to be kept up to date with future videos. My name's Liam, and in 2018, I was diagnosed with relapsing and remitting MS. For those of you already subscribed, welcome back. I'm going to get into today's video in which I'd like to talk about cannabis. Now, cannabis, understandably, can be a bit of a controversial subject. Different people have sort of different views and opinions on whether or not cannabis is harmful, whether or not it does more bad than good, if there are any health benefits from smoking cannabis or ingesting cannabis. The debate has gone on for a long time, even as recently as the past couple of weeks here in the UK. Someone recently from one of the political parties suggested that cannabis needs to be reclassified from B to Class A, whereas there are equally people campaigning for it to be reclassified from a B to a C, and even those that suggest it should be declassified altogether. Now, in full transparency, I want to be honest with you guys who are taking the time to watch these videos. I do smoke cannabis. Usually it's just on an evening when I really need to switch off and rest. But I find my legs are quite restless and painful, and the brain fog because of my fatigue is just all a bit much. And cannabis seems to really alleviate those sort of symptoms and the discomfort that I have on an evening. I imagine if I wasn't father to two young kids, that I may be tempted to smoke more often to help reduce the symptoms that I present. However, I currently don't feel comfortable being under the influence of cannabis around my children, so I only smoke when someone else is in the house and they have gone to bed. So it's something that I do. It helps me sleep, helps me to sort of sleep through. But again, that's the pros of a better night's sleep as such. But the consequences of cannabis is that you don't get the best quality of sleep, so you don't, I think, go into full REM sleep. So again, it depends on why you're smoking cannabis, and it's not something that I do sort of recreationally. I'm not addicted to cannabis. I am sort of dependent on it though now as a pain relief, and I take it for medicinal purposes, and I've no shame in that. Even though I know in different states in the US and here in the UK, it is still illegal to smoke cannabis or to possess cannabis. There are some, I think, concessions where if it's for just personal use and it's a small amount, yada yada, I'm not too sure, but it's it's right that if you are considering cannabis as a source of pain relief for your MS or any other condition, then it is obviously worth being mindful or reminding yourself of the different laws around cannabis where you are based. Again, like I said, it's legal in many parts of the world, in many states in the US. Here in the UK, it's not legal, but they are campaigning. I think they have had some success in the I want to say it's sativa, but I think that's fake sugar. Sativa or Stratavia, I don't know, something like that. It's going to be on your screen, I hope. Yeah, sativa. Sativa sounds like it's right. Is it right? Was I right? So yeah, there has been some progress made there where it may be able to be prescribed on the NHS under different NHS districts or whichever bodies, I guess. I know here in the UK there has been some success, I believe, in some of the different NHS councils in the country. Whatever it was I said, because I've forgotten already, is legal to be prescribed on the NHS, and I think some in England have. Wales maybe sounds about right. There are many different ways you can ingest cannabis as well. Even when it comes to smoking, there's different ways to smoke, whether it's rolling into a spliff or a blunt, or smoking a bong or a balloon, I think you can get. So there's those different ways. There's also edibles, so they can be baked into brownies or lots of other delicious treats, which is dangerous because you might just want to eat more. But yeah, I find that it really does help with my condition. It helps with my mood. It helps with my brain fog. It helps with a lot of the pain that I'm in, more than any other sort of prescribed painkiller that I have taken. I know that there are a lot of negatives attached to any drug, whether it's alcohol, nicotine, anything else that's a bit more the tougher stuff. I don't know. Even prescription drugs can be addictive, and there's always pros and cons to both. And it's always about weighing up those benefits to the side effects or consequences of taking whatever it is that you're taking. If you have been thinking about cannabis or researching it as a potential pain relief or symptom relief for your MS or whatever it is that you're suffering with, and you want to learn more about cannabis from a sort of neutral but sort of open open view of what cannabis is and what it does, then I would really recommend the following book. I've listened to it on audiobook, and it's called Cannabis, Seeing Through the Smoke, and it's by Professor David Nutt. Now, Professor David Nutt was an advisor, a government advisor, when it came to drugs and alcohol. He started to speak more positively about the effects of cannabis and the fact that it could be and perhaps should be legalized, and was promptly fired, which says how open the government is about drugs or changing the classification of drugs. It is a difficult thing to get through. So yeah, I would really recommend giving that a listen or a read, because it really I felt a lot more sort of knowledgeable about cannabis, and I felt a bit more reassured when it came to my own choice about smoking cannabis. I don't smoke it with tobacco. It is pure cannabis that I smoke, so it might sound cool like Snoop Dogg.
Smoke weed every day.
But yeah, I just smoke a small amount of that early evening, and then a little bit more again before I go to bed, and I found it really helps. So if you smoke cannabis, I would love to know about how you found it, positive or negative. Let me know in the comments. And again, if you're thinking about smoking cannabis or edibles, things like that, then yeah, let me know what your thoughts are and where your head's at the moment. Thanks again for checking out the channel and the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, then hit the dislike button. Great feedback for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love you to join our little gang and community we're building here, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.